Loud and Quiet presents Midnight Chats.
Evening listeners, don't say we don't come at you with a variety of voices on our podcast series. Last time out on Midnight Chats, Stuart was talking to the legendary Johnny Marr, a man who's released over a dozen albums in the 35 years that he's been making music. My guest tonight, Kojo Kankum, otherwise known as Novelist, has made just one, and if you're comparing their two experiences, they're not just generations, but really worlds apart. Novelist might only just be starting out, but for me, what he's got to say is just as interesting. If you don't know his story, he's a 21-year-old rapper and producer from Lewisham, South London. He started making music in his mid-teens and in the past has collaborated with the likes of Mum Dance, Jamie XX, Bauer, Major Lazer. He was on a track on the most recent Skepta album as well. So it's been a few years in the making, but back in April he put out his debut album, Novelist Guy, and it wasn't what I was expecting at all. A UK rap or grime record that has an almost universally positive message in it. It's refreshing, so check it out if you haven't already. Back at the start of May, Novelist came into our office in East London to record this conversation, and as you're about to hear, he's both really polite and self-assured, not in a cocky way, but in the fact that he has conviction in what he's doing and saying. And we talked about a load of stuff, including the rise in violent crime in London in 2018, which has been well documented. But as someone who spent time as Lewisham's young mayor and also been a victim of violent crime in the past, we spoke a bit about that. His track Stop Killing the Man Dem has become a sort of unofficial protest anthem for that ongoing issue. Novelist Guy was made by himself, released on his own label, and his mum is his manager, so I wanted to know a bit more about mixing family and business and whether that works out for him. And also just a bit about his aspirations. His faith plays a huge role in his life, as you'll hear in this. But he's also got an eye on some big future prizes that he wants to go for, so I hope he makes it there. Just finally, some news about us. This is episode 50 of Midnight Chats. I can't quite believe that, but after this one, we're going to take a bit of a break to record a bunch of new episodes over the summer. We'll then be back with a new episode, not every fortnight, but every single week for what will be Series 6 of Midnight Chats. You'll hear from us then, but in the meantime, it's my pleasure to welcome Novelist onto Midnight Chats. Novelist, welcome to our podcast, Midnight Chats. Good to have you on.
Yeah, it's nice to be here.
We're here after an uncharacteristically warm bank holiday in London.
Yeah.
What did you get up to? Were you busy this weekend?
Yeah, this weekend, I was in Malta.
Oh, nice.
On the weekend. So Malta on the Friday, come back on the Saturday. No, I was on Malta on the Saturday, come back on the Sunday. And on Sunday, I went to church. Yesterday, kind of just chilled with my boy in Shoreditch. Yeah, the easy one.
Was that part of the Annie Mac Festival?
Yeah,
you went out for that.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
It was lovely, man. Like, it was the first time me PAing some of those songs for my album in a festival environment. It's kind of cool to test run them and see how people reacted, and it was smashing.
Did you get any time to get an impression of Malta as a place?
I didn't really have long there, but when I was travelling to the festival and to the hotel, etc., I was looking around and thinking this place looks quite different to the rest of everywhere else, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've not been that far.
So sometimes on this podcast we don't get around to chatting about the artists that we're speaking to, their new music, but actually for this one I want to start right there. I want to start with Novelist Guy, which is your debut album, which you brought out just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
How have you felt about the reception to that album?
It's been perfect.
Yeah?
It's been absolutely perfect.
It's gone kind of exactly as you had it in your imagination?
Yeah, man, because my fans, they're very about me. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't really feel like I have a pop fan base. I have a fan base that really know about my music. And I've also found that a lot of different groups of people who I never would expect to like pay interest in my music, they're saying, yeah, Novelist, this is great, getting me through the day, getting me through my uni course. And that's the kind of stuff that I like, the small things, you know what I mean? So it's been really good.
So you've had people sharing their sort of first time listens to the album, their personal experiences, telling you their favourite tracks.
Yeah, it's all been great, man.
Okay.
Yeah, all of it.
Where's the best one? Has anybody said, oh, I work in Tesco and I've heard it, like, you know, or it's my soundtrack to my drive to college or things like that? What kind of personal stories have people come up to you and say?
My favourite one, obviously I'm a youth myself, so I mean I'm 21 now, so I'm kind of edging. But someone said it got them through their dissertation, and I thought, yeah, that's cool, man, because if my music's actually helping you get through something that's going to take you to the next stage in your life, like, that's quite impactful.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a few wild ones.
Have you?
Yeah, but that's the simpler ones are my favourite ones, you know what I mean? Yeah.
The album starts with a track called Start.
Yeah.
And it sets the scene, doesn't it? It's,
yeah.
When I listened to the record for the first time, it's a really the whole thing feels very motivational, very positive, very honest.
Yeah.
And that track almost encapsulates that, right?
Yeah.
Like, tell us a little bit about why you wanted to start the album with that song and how that almost acts as a theme for the album, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does actually. It's funny because when I was making that song, I wasn't in the best place in my life, but it's like that. I feel like God downloaded it to me. Like it's a literal download, and it
just appeared on the iPod. It's like, listen to this message.
Yeah, so it's like it just came through me, man. And when I was just making it, it just felt really good to make a beat that sounded like that, and then the lyrics were just coming incrementally, just coming like boom, boom, boom. I was thinking to myself, yeah, I really like this, and then I just listened to it a few times. Like I wrote the lyrics before I wrote the chorus.
Okay.
I think that's how it went. Yeah. And then I just remember writing to myself, when you get the chance, start, put your money in the future, start. Like the song is about investing in yourself and being positive, like actually being aware of the good things. And I put bird song, you might hear some chirping in the song. Yeah, I put that in the song just to like give it that morning feel.
Okay.
And you know, when you wake up, if you play Start when you wake up, it's like a good start to your day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you start with almost a manifesto for the album? Because it's kind of packed with the messages along the lines of, you know, self-love, they're motivational, they're, I think, you know, you act as a kind of inspiring force on it. Is that just how the collection of songs that you wrote came together? Or did you sit down and go, I want this album to be a sort of positive experience for people listening?
A mixture of both.
Okay.
Because some of the songs I've had from before, and I re-recorded them and tailored them to a more positive message, just through me becoming more mature in life.
Okay.
So my opinions on certain things kind of got a bit more understanding.
Yeah.
And I feel like I am the manifesto in itself. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm a man of faith as well. So my whole life, I've always believed in God and love and positivity. But obviously circumstance, it doesn't always keep your attention on the things that you care about. Do you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to like really implement as my foundation and debut album who I really am, more so than any other thing, because it's a reference point to yourself also. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when I listen to my music on this album, I don't cringe at it at all. I really enjoy it. I'm really happy, and I hope that all the children that grow up on this music, all the older people who listen to it can relate to it, because love, peace, and power, and having a collected mind, that's something that everybody in life wants. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of universal in that sense, and I believe that God himself is universal. So that's why I wanted to make the album in that way.
Because your faith is like a reoccurring theme on the record.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was important that played a fundamental, I mean, that feels like the foundation of it almost. Is that fair to say? Yeah,
because that's actually who I am. It's not like, obviously in life we go through what we go through. You can't help where you're born or, you know, how people treat you, but you can always decide to want to be a better person or like show the best of yourself. So that's what I wanted to do with my album, man.
It's released on your own label.
Yeah.
It's pretty much all you, right? I mean, this is your complete work. Did you have any producers that worked with you? Because there's not like it's not like you brought in any. There's no big guest spots or anything like this. It feels like this is a statement about who Novelist is, who you are, and like your kind of starting out intention. Why was it important that this was a record made by you, released by you, kind of controlled by you? You know, like why was it important to do all of those things?
I wanted to be the purest version of myself, and creative control. I don't even like that saying, you know, it comes with that whole like stigma, just someone being like bossy, but nah, like I'm able, and I've always known that I was able. From I was a young child, before I even made an album, I always wanted to produce my own album, just to show, I believe sound can show you where someone's heart is at. Like, regardless of what lyrics are put on, someone can make an instrumental and you really know where they was in their life at that time. So I wanted to have that aspect of it. Then my personality is who, like the music itself is the soul of me, and my lyrics are the spirit. Do you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
And God is everything else. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, people that are familiar with your journey, you've been making music since you were, early teenager. Like releasing music since you were mid-teens. You're only 21 now. So the fact that people might have like heard your name or heard you appear on records, for the past few years, and now it's 2018, your debut album's come out.
Yeah.
You, as you already explained, there's a reason why you took your time, because you wanted it to be the purest thing it could be, and to represent you.
Yeah, so, to represent me, like the truest me that I've known my whole life. You know what I'm saying?
Did you have any pressure from your subconscious to just try and, because the music industry is, the pace of it's relentless, right?
Yeah,
so people,
yeah.
they hear a new name, they want to hear music right then. They want new music all the time. They want to be reading interviews. They want to be. There's this kind of like rush culture, isn't it? Like, I want everything now. So, did you have any hesitation about just taking your time and delivering it when it was right, or did you just always know that was going to be all right?
I'd never had that hesitation. I more had irritation at people not understanding that don't tell me how I should do anything, because like my faith is not in the wisdom of people. Like my faith in myself and my faith in God is not. Someone might not ever be able to comprehend that, so you just have to look and observe what I'm doing. Don't tell me to like put out an album now, because everyone's talking about me. Everyone's going to talk about me when I put out the album.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So just look at it from the other side.
Yeah. So I'm really happy that I took my time, and that my mum's my manager as well, which is really been great working with my mum, especially in this season of my life. My brother, he produces for me, with me. He's shown me a lot. I've showed him a lot. A lot of the stuff that I'm doing is within my household. So for me, this is the best time that I could have put out my album. And even within myself, I'm just at peace in my life, in every aspect of my life. Everyone
knows that being part of a family unit, there are always ups and downs. I remember very well growing up. I've got an older brother, and there were good times and there were not so good times. Yeah. That's just the way family life works. But when you work so intensely with close family on a project that's very close to your heart, are there frictions that come from that?
None in my
family.
Smooth
sailing.
Yeah, not one in my family. I want to be
part of your family. That sounds like a much smoother experience than mine. I can't make dinner without arguing with mine.
I mean, them times are done for me, like, because it's all about a decision.
Yeah.
True love, is like, even when you're right, sometimes you just back down, because you may realize that, this person, they can't see it from the angle that I can see it. So even if you're right, love surpasses that. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like we don't really have points to prove anymore. It's more about just getting everything done. Yeah,
can you separate those things? A lot of people would think of it as business and personal, you're merging those two things together. So do you find yourself sat at the dinner table, sat watching TV, and then your brother says, hey, I've got this idea for this beat, or your mum says, hey, I need you to reply to this email that somebody sent? Or do you mind that those two worlds are basically so tightly laced?
Yeah, because it's fun. It's fun. It's not. You know, like it's easy to think of the worst because we know that that's the circumstance that a lot of people are going through on a day-to-day basis. But me, myself, and me and my people, like, we know what the mission is. So there's no confusion. Like, confusion is not allowed to enter. You know what I'm saying?
Is one of the benefits of having your mother as your manager, knowing that your mum's always going to have your best interests at heart.
That is the sole benefit. That is the biggest benefit, man. And one of the greatest things is just seeing my mum just travel, go to different places.
Do you mind me asking, what did she do before she was managing you?
She's always worked with young women.
Okay.
Yeah, she used to work in a women's hostel in Lewisham. And so she's always mentored young women, young people. I remember even when I was in primary school, my mum would come and do assemblies and, you know, like teach the history of different cultures and, you know, just like she just loves young people. So her being in this field, she knows most of the MCs that are my age.
Really?
Yeah, they've been in and out of my house and stuff.
And what do they? Is your mum like? Well, presumably she's a very kind of respected figure in that.
Yeah. Like, I've never really had anyone other than people who completely don't know me. Like, no one's ever really like dissed my mum or anything like that. People in my whole borough. Like, I've been a community person from the jump, so my borough knows my mum virtually. You know what I'm saying? Everyone, yes, mummy, how you doing, mum? You all right? Yeah, that's my mum's character. So it's like, I feel like even in the field of music, when she meets the artist, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Really, she's a real mum.
And what about your friends, your family, your friends from church, for example?
Yeah.
Like, is everybody? You must take great pride, and I imagine the support there is huge. Like, people really proud of the fact that you're, you know, off to play festivals in Malta, or, you know, go and play, you know, these notable gigs and stuff.
I'm a very covert person. Yeah.
They don't even know that you do this.
Yeah. Some people do, some people don't. But I believe in that discretion will preserve any person. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a thing of like hiding, but at the same time, you know, let people find out things naturally for themselves, and because that's when you truly see who people are. You know what I mean? I don't shout from the top of the hills. I'm Novelist guy. My album just came out. Like, no, that's not my angle, man.
Yeah.
I just keep it natural, keep it smooth. Maybe I know there's people in my borough who've known me my whole life and they don't know that I do music. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's true though, because they'll judge you for just, you know, being Kojo that they see wherever. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And I love it when people call me by my name, like, because it reminds me that I'm a normal guy.
Exactly. Who just has extraordinary experiences.
Yes, exactly. And also, I'm in a generation of people who, like the generation that I'm in, everyone wants to have one up on someone else. Like, I say everyone, not everyone, but a big range of people, they want to have one up on each other. And I don't want to be a part of that. I want people to still see me and feel comfortable to talk to me, knowing that I'm not going to like kind of steeze on them. Do you know what I mean? I want people to feel like they can approach me. I don't want them to feel like, oh yeah, Novelist is up there and I'm here, so I can't even talk to him how I normally would, because that's confusion.
So it's important to be humble and approachable.
Yeah, man. That's why not? Do you know what I mean? It's the best thing.
It's interesting to hear you talk about it, because I get the sense that like music is your passion, right? But also you have enough self-confidence and like a support around you from family and friends that you get the sense that even if you weren't doing music in say 20 years time, like, everything will be all right. Like, some people live through the fear of failing. It feels like you're not at all. You're not worried about that stuff.
It's not an option. I don't like. It says here, there's a Bible verse that says God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. I believe that. Like, I don't connect with fear. Actually, if I start to feel any fear, I literally reject it on the spot. Like, I'm not connected with this. You don't have any, like, I'm not coming into agreement with that feeling, because that's not what I want for myself. You know what I mean? Like, when I look into the future, I see exactly what I want, and that's how it's gonna go, because that's how I want it to go. You know what I mean? You gotta let's look at it from a physical sense here. say there's a green bush to your left and a fire to your right. Well, I say a green bush. Let's say there's a farm to your left and a famine to your right. Whatever side you face and stare at is the direction you're gonna go in. You know what I mean? So I'm not on looking at. I don't focus on the things that I don't want. I focus on what I do want. Those are the simple things that get you to where you want to be. You know what I mean? It's very simple, but you have to sit down and actually consider them.
We've spoken about how people have received the album from like a fan's perspective, listener's perspective. A lot of the press has kind of cast you as like a bit of a spokesperson for people of your generation.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. How do you feel about that?
It is. People's gonna put me in whatever box they put me in.
Yeah,
I'll just leave that in God's hands. Like, I feel cool. Like, I know what I'm trying to do, and I can speak confidently about what I'm trying to do. So, as long as I'm never afraid of my own voice, which I'll never be, it's not that it doesn't matter what people say, but like, I'm sure that people will either get the right idea or the wrong idea. Yeah. People's only going to get the wrong idea if I give it to them. You know what I'm saying?
So when you see a track like Stop Killing the Man Dem being like embraced as almost this sort of positive, like a protest anthem.
Yeah.
Are you you embrace that as a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, as in, like, you know, that this is useful.
This is useful. Like, it has a purpose. Every song on my album has a purpose. There's nothing that I say that's not intentional. You know, you see the whole. Let's talk about Stop Killing the Man Dem for a second. How that song came about was natural. That naturally occurred because in 2016, I remember there was a lot of mass shootings on black men in the US, and people over here decided to do a protest. Now, I didn't even know that protest was going down when it happened, but I saw on the day, like, I was on Twitter, I see people saying like, the march is gonna happen.
Yep.
I was at Rinse FM at the time.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, in the building, and there's like a spray paint shop right next to where their office is. So I just got like some paper, spray painted Stop Killing the Man Dem, because everyone in London understands the slang. You know what I'm saying? So I just sprayed it on there. Went there as a civilian. Didn't go there as Novelist. Went there just as a black boy who just not really feeling all this murder stuff. And that's not even just the police brutality. I'm talking about on the road level as well. Like, where I grew up, I've been stabbed myself and been through a whole lot of stuff. So it's like, I understand the dynamics of how something can turn 0 to 100, whereas some people don't. So anyway, I wrote Stop Killing the Man Dem on the thing. That picture just went viral, man, like, naturally, which is, like I said, in the hands of God. I couldn't have done that myself. So that went viral. And then one day I was just in my room thinking, you know what? I've got a voice. Like, I make music. This is the gift I was given. So I must say something. And the promotion of the messages promoted itself.
Yeah.
Like, it's done it itself already anyway. So if I had an audio to what's already been out there, people's gonna connect the dots and be like, okay, cool. This is really a real thing that's going on in the world. Like, we need to stop killing the man. Oh, it's the same guy at the protest. Oh, he produced it himself. Or, like, do you know what I'm saying? It's not about me, but they'll understand that this is a real concern coming from a real guy from a real place. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I made the song, and hopefully, whoever it may concern, one day someone hears the song, they're going out with their knife, they put the knife down because they think, do you know what, really and truly, because you can't stop anyone from doing anything, but you can influence. So I'm using my influence for possible good, because if I don't give the option in the first place, then it hasn't been given. Yeah. So you have to put it out there and leave it in people's hands.
Obviously, there's been plenty of headlines this year about the serious crime that's been in London.
Yeah,
you've been, you already mentioned, you've experienced the
violence.
You've experienced the violence. The very much the negative side of that. So there aren't any simple answers, are there? No,
that's what people don't get. Like, there's no simple answers.
Yeah.
The only thing you can do is shroud it with positivity. Like, kill it with positivity. Because, if you don't do that, then what are you doing? You're either adding fuel to the fire, or you're throwing water on it, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
man. So I'm just trying to do my bit. I don't think I'm no superhero or nothing. I leave that in the hands of Jesus. That's me, but I still got my voice.
And it is frustrating when you see some of those negative things being attributed to certain communities or certain genres of music. That just feels like you're making a connection that you're just looking for this blame culture, isn't it? It's looking for something that, for example, like, you know, London drill rap, for example, has been singled out by certain publications as being an influence on some of the serious violent crime.
It is.
Yeah, you think it is? I mean, it probably is an influence, but it's not the only reason, is it?
No, it's not, because this been happening. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it is an influence. Same way if the only things they showed on TV was horror movies, that's what would be in the minds of people. So, you know, like we can't completely say that it has no part to play. Yeah, it is influencing some of the young G's. Like some of the young youths, they're dumb. They're not intelligent yet. They need to grow up a bit. Like people go through things that make them more intelligent. But if what you're feeding them, or if what they're in love with is violence, and that's what they're hearing all the time, that's what's going to be on their mind. Do you know what I'm saying? And then they capture the spirit of fear because they don't want to die, but they're addicted to like that whole lifestyle, not understanding the dynamics of that lifestyle, because most of them ain't really from it. Like some of them have got really good backgrounds, but it's their boy who has got a crazy background who they're rolling with all the time, but somehow they get in a madness, then they're the one who gets killed. And this is how it goes. But it's better that people focus on things that's going to elevate their life than not, regardless of whether it's music, whether it's the media, whether it's who they're hanging with. You know what I'm saying? There's all types of influence, but for people to single out a genre and say it's only this, I think that's stupid. How about talk about some of the policies that are out that make the community a certain way? Like there's all kind of, we could all point our fingers at a million different things, but what's the point in doing that when we could point our finger at the solution? You know what I mean?
To take it back to the music, as I already said, the album focuses on a positive message.
Yeah.
So to connect those two things, have you spoken to people that have listened to your music that have said it's had a positive influence on my life, and I'm going to choose this path rather than this path, and hopefully this one's like less destructive than this one, you know? For you, is that vindication of doing like the right thing and also a powerful thing to hear back from your listenership?
Yeah, it's nice to hear, man. It's nice to hear. It's really nice to hear. It's fulfilling.
Because I guess if one person,
even if it's one person out the whole scape of the whole world, decides that, you know what, I'm going to live my life different in a better way because I've taken on this message, like that, I'll feel happy, because one soul is priceless. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no one to die. I don't want no one to not understand how to govern their money. I don't want people to live the lesser life. I want everyone to live the better life, and that's what my album's about. It's also about having self-respect, self-confidence, having respect for others, knowing what to expect, like from putting in your own work. I've got a song on there called Wait, 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 which is talking about like people kind of just like standing next to you to leech off of you. Like, so I put that mentality out there of like, look after your own stuff and no one ain't getting what they don't deserve, which is not selfish. That is actually right. We're supposed to protect our own, but we're also supposed to be very giving as well, and charitable and love people. So it's a balance of having a steadfast mind and be in control of yourself as a person. And anyone who takes on those messages, hopefully it's a catalyst to them becoming a better version of themselves.
It's been often said that you are a young man with a wise sort of head on your shoulders. It's the thing that I kept reading before we met up today.
Yeah.
And how do you take that as a compliment? Because, you know, it does feel like in your, you know, relatively short 21 years that you've experienced a lot, that it's a really mature record, really mature album to have made at 21, I think. Because at 21 I was still really just not figuring out things that are on the level that you are. Yeah. And that's a compliment, by the way.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'll tell you how I take it. And I talk about God a lot, but I have to credit it back to God, because when I was young, I read a story in the Bible about King Solomon, and he was the king of Israel at the time. I remember this story. He actually asked God for wisdom and understanding, and that never ever left me. So I always used to pray to God, I need wisdom. I dwelled on having wisdom. And I'm not the wisest guy. Like, I've made some mistakes, you know what I'm saying? But when people tell me that I'm wise and etc., it's like a confirmation that God is doing a work in me.
Right.
That all the things that I really desired from my heart, I'm receiving. Because I've always wanted to be wise, not for my own self-glorification, but why not be wise in this earth? It's better that you be wise than unwise.
Yeah.
Like that's wisdom in itself. And you know, that's the truth. So I just pray. I've always prayed for wisdom. The beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. That's what I believe. So these are the things that I focus on a daily basis.
This album obviously was rooted at home, but did take you to other places like Abbey Road Studios, the famous Abbey Road Studios. But am I right in thinking that when you were working there, the whole sort of the musical history of the place was not what you were most impressed with? You actually just felt the people there, the atmosphere.
1,000%.
Okay, tell us a bit more about what that experience was like.
How I came into contact with Abbey Road, was I made a song with a friend of mine called JD Reed, and this song was called Ready, and he made me re-vocal the song at the Abbey Road Studios. They opened a studio called the Gatehouse. It's like a separate part. But I met a man called Mark Robertson at Abbey Road. Lovely person. He stuck with me the whole way. I've met my engineer Gordon. Lovely guy as well. And I just remembered thinking to myself, I need to come back and do some stuff with these dudes. So once I got working on my album, I mixed it down to the best of my ability. I just called up Abbey Road and said, like, I wanna book a few sessions. And we only ended up using, I booked 4 days in the studio. We only ended up using 3 of the days. Because Gordon basically said to me, Gordon who's the engineer, he said to me, I've basically done all the work on the album. Like, there's not much left to do.
I don't need to give you another day. I'll be ripping you off.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're done.
Yeah, and a man called Alex mastered the album as well. Lovely guy, man. Like, they're just sweet people in there. Their relationship with my mum is like unbreakable because it's really personal. Everything's just like so much love. So, you know, when I go there, I'm going for the people and the staff that are there. Like even the bartender in the canteen, Dave, lovely guy. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you so much shout outs right now. I just got love for all the people when I go in there. They're really receptive. And it wasn't a freebie or anything like that. It was a business transaction, but the business relationship is amazing because the people are amazing and we're cool on our end. It's
refreshing to hear that because there are definitely artists that I've spoken to before who feel the weight and the pressure of the space, the building. You know, the cliche goes that musical history is oozing out of the walls. You know, all the people that have recorded over there, obviously made famous by the Beatles and everything else. But it's nice just to hear that your experience was kind of removed from that almost. That wasn't the important thing.
I went there to book their studio, bro. That was it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I respect the history, but I'm not a madman, so I'm not going in there being overwhelmed by Abbey Road. Like, it's not that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've we was even having a little joke. Like, I've heard there's guys that's gone there like kiss the floor and all of that stuff. like, that's not gonna do anything for me.
Lifting, like, you know, pictures off the wall in the toilets and stuff. Like, I'm gonna be away with this. Take my little piece of history.
Yeah, like that doesn't do anything for me. I'm a very simple man. You know what I mean? But like, let me pay for my session and let's have fun doing it, and then end result, you know what I mean? But it's been really special because of the history and because of how important this album is to people. It kind of goes hand in hand with the whole Abbey Road
well, the ethos, the feel, yeah,
do you know what I'm saying? So hopefully in the future I might be one of them dudes that people are like, yeah, Novelist recorded here, like, do you know what I mean?
I hope so, man. It's a special moment for any artist to release their debut album because you only ever get to do that once.
Yeah.
And so do you feel like you've kind of like fully taken on that experience and fully enjoyed it for what it is? Yeah,
I just let it be as simple as it should be. I haven't thrown like crazy parties and just like, because it was all about the music getting out. That's all it was. And you know, sometimes when it comes to this stuff, everyone can make such a big deal out of everything except for the actual music. Whereas this time, I've tried to approach it the opposite way. Let the music speak for who I am and what the message is. And I'm so shocked at all the different crowds, different people, different blogs, different media, magazines, personalities, and people that are actually just paying attention and saying, this is great. This is what we needed. Breath of fresh air. We haven't had a project like this for a while. You know what I'm saying? I really love that. So that's like my edification. You know what I mean?
What are your dreams, like aspirations? Like what opportunities do you hope it opens up for you? Like, I mean, in like platform wise, you know, like I don't know whether somebody ever dreams of like getting a Brit Award nomination or gets the opportunity to perform at the Brit Awards to make a statement.
I expect that stuff. Yeah, I don't aspire for that stuff. I expect it.
What's on your like? What do you expect then?
I expect to win a Mercury one day. I expect to, like, you see, like just the awards and stuff. I expect to be in those places because I know that my music is great. And if those people are saying that they handle great music, then I expect to be there because that's what my lifestyle and my music is in agreement with. It's in agreement with greatness and etc. So I wouldn't necessarily want to list out, oh yeah, I want to do this and that. But more on a personal aspiration would be to be in different communities and have talks with people about the messages that I'm trying to put out, because my music is purposeful. My music isn't about me or just for me. My music is for everyone to actually come together and make sense out of the simple things in life. Those are the things that will really like get my blood jumping. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I'd love to like really chop it up with just some different people about different stuff. Like that's conversation sets people free, man. You know what I mean? Especially when everyone's listening as well. Just
finally, so the album you made, it's very much about you, but you have worked with other people in the past, Jamie XX, Skepta, people like that. What's next in your thought process? Debut album's done. In a practical sense, like now, do you want to go and work on a few other projects as you're doing new things, or is it like album 2? I'm already focused. I've already got an idea of what I want that to be.
I've got so many ideas, and also I've got a lot of music done that's not out. I've got so much songs that are not released yet. So revamp some of those songs, put out some songs that are ready to go. As for projects, I've got many ideas. It just doesn't stop. Doesn't stop till the casket drops, and even then it don't stop. You know what I'm saying? It never stops. There's always, and there's gonna help some new guys in the future as well who have the right head on their shoulders. Whatever I can do to be an asset to the kingdom of God and just like make life better for people while I'm on earth. That's what I'm on.
And if we've got any Mercury Prize judges listening, needs to go back. Novelist guy needs to go back to the top of the inbox, doesn't it?
Yeah, man.
Midnight Chats is a loud and quiet podcast. Production by Emma Snook. Music courtesy of Gold Panda. Search Midnight Chats on iTunes for more episodes and to subscribe. For more information, visit loudandquiet.com.